We have already established our routes and implemented MVC in our startup.cs file. In this lecture, I want to examine a little bit more about conventional routing. As you can see in my configure method, I'm implementing the HTTP request pipeline to associate to use the MVC method on my iApplication Builder interface. So right here, I'm associating the default route and I'm implementing it to the home controller and the index method on the home controller. Some other functionality that you can associate, since I'm using a home controller and an index method, I can go over here and I can comment this out. And then I can come down here, since I'm using the home controller, app.use MVC default routes. And as you can see right here, it's a method that adds MVC to the iApplication Builder request execution pipeline with the default route name default in the following template. So it implements the home controller, it implements the action index, and the optional ID. So this is the same as what we've implemented before associated with our MVC route. So there's a default method associated with my iApplication Builder interface, and then once I associate that library, I can call this default route if I have a home controller and an action index method on that home controller. So just keep that in mind when you're implementing your functionality for MVC. If you're going to follow through with the default routing, you can implement it this way. Another way you can implement this, let's go ahead and comment this out, is you can come down here and do app.useMVC, and here you can pass a method to associate your MVC routing. You don't have to implement it as you did right here with the conventional routing and using lambda expressions, but you can come over here and you can say configuration route. And then when you have that, then you can come in here and then you can generate a method on your startup.cs file. So right here, I've generated a configure route method, and then look what it takes as a parameter, an iRoute builder. The iRoute builder defines a contract for route building in your application. So you can come down here and build your routes to associate inside of this configuration route method. So let's go over here and let's type object dot, and we're setting the parameter to map route. And once we associate map route, you can see the parameters that it associates with the map route method. So we can come over here, we can say default. Then the second parameter here, we can pass as the convention to what controller we want to associate. So we can say comma, and then we can come over here and put quotes, and then let's just type controller equals home, because we're going to go to the home controller. Then we're going to say \action, and then we're going to come over here one more, and then we're going to put question. Then we're going to put our closing semicolon. This is another way you can configure your routes in MVC. You don't just have to come up here and utilize the lambda expression with your routes. This is the same between what we set up here in our configure service method and then implementing the use MVC and then passing the configuration route method that we utilize on our startup.cs file. So we're implementing controller home action right here, and then right here we want to come into action and not forget what method we're going to utilize right here. Now we can go ahead and run this. You can see that the routes.maproute associates with the default similar to our configuration route method. Then we're associating the controller equal to home, then the action equal to index, and the ID to be optional. So let's go ahead and run this, see if this is working. And this should go to our index method on our controller, as you can see, my MVC default route, as we did previously. So let's go back here, and as you can see, that's going to return a string on my index of my MVC default route. So this is the way we can implement all of the different functionality with conventional routing and MVC in our ASP.NET Core application. And just to show you one more, let's go ahead and comment this out. And then the conventional routing, if I uncomment this and just go ahead and run my application, I'm going to get the same thing because I'm utilizing the home controller and the action index. There's a nice built-in method to associate in your startup.cs file that you can utilize on your iApplication Builder interface and implement the home controller and the action index method. So this is conventional routing in MVC. I want to thank you for joining me in this lecture. Have a nice day.